channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Here on my channel, I do planner and planner-related videos, DIY tutorials, budget videos, and the occasional new release video of items that I've listed to my Etsy shop. And if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you hit that little notification bell, you'll always be notified of when I do load a new video. And if you could also comment, like, and share, that does help my channel grow, and that would be truly appreciated. So I believe we are doing lesson 4 of our hand lettering series, From a Beginner for Beginners. And this week is actually going to be a fun week because of all of the fundamental strokes. These are my favorites, these two. Now, full disclosure, did I practice this week? No, I did not. And so more than likely, that will be something that we'll be able to see. But you know what, guys? It's real life, and it just happens. All right, so we're going to work on the back of my Happy Planner page. Now, I mentioned this in the very first video of this series. I'll be working out of a Happy Planner just because it's easier for me. It's the function and the style that I like, but you can be working out of anything. The biggest draw for me for the Happy Planner system is I can take it out and I can put it back in. If you have a composition notebook, if you have a regular notebook, an Erin Condren or whatever, I mean, you can take the page out, but then you're stuck with a loose leaf page. So that's why I like this system, but in no way is it required that you have this. Now, as we do at the start of every lesson, we're going to make our big E at the top. And so go ahead and do that if you have not already done so. This week, however, he has a friend, so apparently over there there's something tall, and so he's sitting on the shoulders of his buddy. So we're going to draw an extra box here. If you can see it, you've got your E there. And then you've got his buddy there. He's just sitting on his shoulders, taking a look at what's over here somewhere, okay? And then today is the 6th, I believe. It's Friday night after work, and you know how I am about doing videos after work, but it should be all right? I don't work tomorrow. All right, so we've got our day there. We've got our E and his friend right there. Now, as we do in the beginning of all of our lesson series, what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to do if you're like me, you didn't practice at all this week, or maybe you did, and this is just a good refresher. You're going to do an entire row of the upstrokes with whatever writing utensil of your choice. Again, if you have a brush pen, definitely use that. But if you are still on the fence whether or not you want to even commit to getting brush pens, a pencil works fine. Keep your writing utensil parallel to the top of the page, and then you can practice with that. You're going to do a row of upstrokes. You're going to do a row of downstrokes. You're going to do a row of overturns, a row of underturns. And I actually did that wrong because I had the same pressure. So let's start it again. A row of underturns, and it felt different. It doesn't look much different, but it feels different. And then we've got our compound curve, and then going light, and then our reverse compound curve. Light, and then coming down thick. Now I'm going to do the same, so when you come back, I'll have all of my rows here, and then we'll get started with the lesson. All right, guys, so just as I expected, that felt not awkward. It's actually feeling a little less awkward than it used to, but it definitely, I can feel that I am out of practice. It is starting to slow down a little bit at work, so I should be able to well, I'm hoping I can get some lettering in at night just so that I can keep up with my practice. Although, again, it being real life, you know, maybe the only time I am going to have a chance to practice is when I'm with you guys. So, yeah. But I'll tell you, I mean, honestly, I think you can see it. Now, the reason why I'm doing the E sitting on his friend's shoulder is because we're going to need this. And just so it doesn't get confusing, there are two separate ones there. Now, the reason why we're going to need this is for today's lesson, we're going to be doing the ascending stroke and the descending stroke. And although before this had a name and it didn't really matter what it was, it does matter today. And I had to look it up because I didn't know. So this bottom of our original E right there, this is called the baseline. And so basically this is where all of your, I don't want to say regular, I don't want to label these guys, but all of your regular letters will start and end there. This is called your X height. And this is where the E, the I, the top of the G, that middle part of the H is. This is called the ascender because it is above. And then obviously this is called the descender. Now, if you look at even the brush lettering books that I have, let me go get them. So I was looking at this today because I was trying to figure out how to do some letters. And so this is the standard letters. This is where I really struggled on how to do this. The style of lettering, even in lettering books, I don't want to say it's misleading, but so this sort of looks like what we've been doing and yet looks nothing like we've been doing because they don't have any of the transitions in between. When you look here, like this M, I wouldn't have thought that would have been the M in brush lettering. I thought it would have been more like humps, like a bunch of overturns. So I mean, I'm definitely going to use these once I get to that point where I know the letters. And the reason I wanted to point this out is depending if you are watching Kelly Creates or InSign Insights or Cindy, or you're working out of a lettering book, that can completely change up how you're doing your letters because depending on the style of the author, you could be learning a method that is their style and not necessarily the standard, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. So I don't know, I thought that was interesting. I digress. But for these, if you get into the bouncy style where it can be all over, for the standard, if there is a standard in this modern brush hand calligraphy, basically, if you are doing an L, and I think the red comes up on camera the best. So this is where the bottom of our letter is going to be. So if I'm going to do the little cute loop for the letter L, then I'm going to start my loop at the X height, so in that middle line right there, and then I'm going to stop at the base. And so if I were to do the word hello, then that would be my guide of where to start certain things or end certain things, or make sure that, and I messed that up, I'm getting to certain places, and that way you can start working on not only working on your letters and your strokes, but also working on them consistently, because I think part of the problem for now is, all right, we're just focused on how to build the letters. We're not very fluid in getting them done, or probably have the tendency to want to rush. You know, you really actually should go slow with your letters. And now we also have to factor in, well, does it go above? Does it go below? Because that is the ascender. It goes up to the ascender line. For the descender, that starts at the X height, comes down thick, and then it kind of goes up thin, and you do that. Now that would be the letter J, like in Johanna. And so I've got the H up there, and then all of the rest of my names, all of the rest of my name is underneath the X height. And so like the N's and the M's still kind of baffle me. And let me show you why. So I would assume that that's how you would do it. Maybe I'm too caught up in that there are structured rules. Maybe there aren't any. But I guess because I'm thinking of cursive, I would have thought that an N would have been like this, where it's like that versus, and I mean, honestly, they're both N's, but that's where it kind of threw me when I saw the M's and the N's in the lettering books, because they look more like this when I assumed they would look like this. And so I'm like, well, what's right? So what I want you to do, and I just totally messed up this lesson because I'm focusing on words, I want you to do an entire row of your ascenders. So start at your X height, and then start up thin and transition down. And then I want you to do, so clearly we're going to need another line down here. I want you to do a row of descenders where you, oh, I don't have his friend. I ran out of space. Oh, let me get another piece of paper. Look what I did, guys. I tore my paper. Oh. All right, so like I was saying, I want you to do a row of ascenders. And then I want you to do a row of descenders. And when you're done, go ahead and pause the video now. And then when you're done, come back to me and we will finish up the lesson. All right, so you can see I've got my descenders and my ascenders, and right over here I forgot that it should try to hit the top of that line there, so that's something I definitely have to be aware of. If you're looking here, I was getting a little bit more consistency with starting here at the X height. Here, not so much, and here also a little off. So again, right now we're not really trying to be super consistent and make beautiful strokes. We're just trying to figure out how to make these strokes, okay? And then for the descender, this one, even though it's the downstroke, and I do prefer the downstroke over the upstroke, I think this still looks a little messy, and I think more because I'm identifying it as a J when it really can be a P, or I guess it would be a capital R. I don't know, we're only doing lowercase letters, so I don't know exactly how that's supposed to work. And actually that should be thicker, and then that thin if I'm using an actual brush pen. But we're going to end the lesson and we're going to try two different words this time. So as always, we're going to do our hello. And again, this is, and it's a little confusing here, so you may want, because I have to, because I'm a little confused. This is our base. So that is where the bottom of the H is going to stop. And then we're going to do our word hello, just like we have been doing these past few weeks together. Now next week, we're actually going to be learning the last one, and I think the hardest of the letters, or the strokes, which is the ovals. Okay, so we've got our hello, getting better. Again, my loops should be more consistent. I'm still struggling with the mountains there, but again, I do see progress. And the second word I want you guys to do is the word hum. So we're going to be doing a sender, and then we're going to do a compound, because we're doing, yeah, we're doing that one right there. I do think it goes up and then comes down. So that's our compound, and then we're going to come down and do an underturn and come up light, and then we're going to come down and then do another underturn, I think. Now this one, again, this is where it gets sticky for me, because my tendency is to want to come up and bring this down like a reverse compound, right? Because it came down thick and then went up thin, and then it came down thick. And then just finish out with some overturns and some, actually that would be a compound, right? So we have the word hum. But if I'm looking in the book, then the word would be, and so I think that worked. We got that, we got that, and then it would come down and then go into our overturns. The reason why that is weird for me is because this isn't a stroke. Because these aren't strokes. The strokes start here. And so, I mean, again, I guess it's just changing my way of thinking to say, well, in either way, it spells the word. So what feels more comfortable? But when I'm thinking about this, and I don't know if you guys run into the same problems, I'm trying to think, okay, so if I have the letter P or the letter Q or the letter R, how do I use the strokes that I've learned to make that up? And if that is just, well, we can do willy-nilly what we want to, well, okay. I guess I want more structure. And again, it didn't really dawn on me until I was looking at the books. I'm like, wait, they're not the same. Why aren't they the same? So, yeah. And I mean, I guess if we want to practice the descender, we can turn hum into a hump. It's just that involves an O, and we have not, or an oval, and we have not learned that letter yet. But yeah, if you want to turn your hum into hump, go for it. All right, guys, tell me what you think. So, would you have your M like that, or do you see M as the three mountains? And I'm sure they have names. I mean, this I actually had to Google several times to figure that out, because it's important. It wasn't important before, but now it does make a difference until it doesn't. So let me show you why it doesn't. And it does. I'm the greatest teacher ever, guys. Gold star night. Gold star night. All right. So So if you're doing the regular casual modern calligraphy, then you would do your hello like that. But if you go more into the bouncy, then you could actually go above and below and then not even get to the X, but then come up high and see, we still want that to look like an E, and then kind of exaggerate the L. And I'm not very good at this, but I'm just saying, once you get into bouncy calligraphy, then that kind of changes things all up again, because then the lines count, but they don't. That looks like a hot mess. That looks like hell no. No. Oh, goodness. Gold star, guys. Gold star. Go ahead and practice your ascenders and descenders. Like I mentioned, next week we're going to be doing ovals and reverse ovals. For that one, before you start the lesson, I want you to kumbaya. I want you to have a good, strong cup of coffee, strong cup of tea. Hell, if you have to bust out the alcohol, do that. They're not hard, but they are frustrating. I've been the most frustrated with the ovals. All right, guys, that's the end of lesson 4. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And as always, aloha.